Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. If you want to learn how I made this geode and get some tips and tricks on the go, just stay tuned, lean back and enjoy the ride. So as you can see here, I've already prepared some things, and these are 4 20 by 20 centimeter MDF boards. So pretty small, and there is one same size on top of it. We will come to this one later. I have taped them all with duct tape or T-Rex tape, whatever animal name you want to call it. This stuff is just amazing. It is basically a very strong tape, and it has some fabric, some fibers in it to make it even stronger, and I'm pretty sure you can get it almost anywhere. It's in hardware stores, it's in hobby markets, you can sometimes get them in the grocery stores as well, or just so convenient with Amazon. I love using this stuff because it sticks to almost any surface, and on top of that you can peel it off when everything is cured, and it does not have any stains on the resin, and it removes perfectly. So I really love this. You can of course remove the tape as long as the resin is still not cured, so kind of liquid, which will of course cause the resin to go over the edges, which might or might not do something to your design that you have poured. So I normally let it cure inside and remove the tape when everything is cured. But this of course has another issue, which is forming a lip towards the tape, which should or should not be removed. This is up to everyone, but we will come to this later. While I was talking, you have seen me putting these red glass stones onto my MDF boards, and those are just regular glass stones. They are colored, they come in red. I do have them in a variety of colors. I have them in red, in blue, in turquoise and clear basically, and in different kinds of sizes. So I have some which are really large for larger geodes, like 2 to 4 centimeter pieces. Those are between 5 millimeters and a centimeter in size, and I also have some smaller ones which are more like 1 to 2 millimeters, but you will see these later as well. The good thing is you don't even need any colored ones. You can just go with the clear if you want to test them out, because the advantage of the clear ones, they will basically take up every color that you pour around or under them. So as they are clear and you put some resin, whatever color around them, they will put up the color that the resin has. The red ones or the colored ones in general will do so as well, but not in the extent. And just to keep me updated, how do you guys call these glass nuggets, glass shards, glass rocks? What do you call them? I don't know. Just let me know in the comments how you call them, and I will update my vocabulary. So normally I don't really have a design what I really have in mind. I do have some kind of concept which I want to achieve with the artwork itself, but normally I just put everything on my surface, in this case here the MDF board, and play around until I have a design that I think looks kind of genuine, I feel good with. So I did here as well. Not in the extent that I sometimes do, so I normally push these stones way more around than I did here. But yeah, this is normally the way I start creating those. And in case you wonder, the black stones that you can see here are actually really stones. I bought them along with the glass nuggets, and this is really basically some stones. So they were painted in black, they are kind of shimmery, but in some areas the paint is scratched and you can see the stone underneath. So those are really stones. In case you want to buy them as well, they were pretty sweet. In case you don't want to buy them and make them yourself, even prettier. So if you have small stones around your area, which you are allowed to take of course, or in your house, in your garden, wherever, use them, clean them up, and you can paint them whatever color you would like. It's easiest to use a spray paint to give them the color that you like, but it works pretty awesome, I say. And I've used them so often in my resin artworks, I just like the effect that they do. When the initial design somewhat looks the way I think it could turn out pretty, I added some more glass on the edges. And as you can see here, this is the clear glass. So it's a bit larger in size than the red stones are, but never mind, use the ones that you would like to use the most. Some people like to have a very high and structured texture on their artworks, so use larger glass nuggets. If you want to have it more gentle and settle, use smaller ones. If you use too small ones though, they might get drowned in resin and you won't see them anymore. So just have this one in mind as well. And something that I like doing is some kind of transition line between the larger and the smaller stones. So you can see me here add some, well, it's amethyst, some kind of purplish nuggets. They are really tiny, only about 1 or 2 millimeter in size, and they form a perfect transition area between the larger stones and the void, the nothing. So between those areas where the resin actually sits and the glass nuggets. Sometimes I do like having rough edges so that there is no transition area, but sometimes I like having a transition, so like I did here. And again, the color that you use for them is pretty much not important. The resin itself takes so much over. A part of the game is that their edges are kind of, well, matte. So these areas where the glass was broken or cut, the edges appear matte, and once you put resin over it, it gets crystal clear again. So this is something you need to pay attention at. So if you want to have them really clear, you should apply the resin over this as well, but better use a clear resin because all the other colors will of course color shift the clear ones. Just something to keep in mind. And basically design-wise, you can really go crazy here and put whatever shape and design you would like to achieve. So those geodes come in so many different kinds of colors, designs, shapes, materials, depends on what they are made of. And nature made them of, actually. So just use your colors that you like the most and that in a way fit together. So don't go too crazy with rainbow colors perhaps, because this is going to look not natural in the end if you want to have the natural look. If you want to have a crazy colorful look, go for it. So whatever you feel up to. So and basically this is also what I did for the smaller one. I just thought about a design that I might like and added some of the glass nuggets, stones, how do you call them? A material that I also really love using and that I'm getting so many questions about is the paste that I'm using here in this video as well, or for this artwork as well. I have shown them in so many other videos and I try to explain them in any video that I'm doing. This is called Golden Mica Paste Flakes. Golden is the company, this is called Mica Flake Paste, and they come in small and in large sizes. So this is the small flake version. I have never tried the large flake version, but I think it only would look cool on really large geodes and artworks, because these flakes here have about 1 millimeter in size. I don't know how large the larger ones are, but this is just a look that works perfectly for these artworks. So I would go for the Golden Mica Flake Paste Small. I used to have it linked in my video description, but the German Amazon actually is sold out from it, and it does link to another product from Golden which has nothing to do with the Golden Mica Paste, and so I decided to remove the link until this is fixed or back in stock. So if you cannot get it here and you cannot get it in your country, the US should be fine on Amazon I think, you can also go to Jackson Art UK, who normally do carry them. And this paste is really, really awesome. They come in different measurements, so package sizes. There is some smaller ones and some larger buckets. When I bought this last year, I just went for the larger size, which is almost about a kilo, so it's 950 grams. It's a bit pricey, it was about 70 euros, which is quite high for the amount, but it really lasts a long time. So I made quite a couple of projects with it, and it is about 1/3 empty, half empty or something. It really lasts a long time and it's really worth the money. When you're wondering, when you apply this, when you open the bucket, it looks like a beige, brownish, muddy color with some not so shiny flakes swimming into it. It's not really swimming, it's a rather thick paste. But when you apply it to the surface, it will keep its shape, so you can dome it up a bit and yeah, play around with the design and the texture. And you have to let it dry. Well, it takes a while because it's a thick paste. But when this stuff is drying, it basically gets crystal clear and the gold comes through, which looks really, really nice. I oftentimes use this as an underlayer paste before I add the first layer of these glass stones, which you can see me do in some of my other geode artworks. So I just put this paste up first, and then add the glass stones as long as everything is still red and let it dry together. It has the advantage that everything is going to be glued together in the end, so the stones actually sit there. And when it's dry, the gold shimmers through the glass stones, which looks really nice. It works best with the clear ones though, because they take up the gold in different shades from underneath. So this is something I really like to use. And on top of that, I often use this as a kind of barrier. So as these stones tend to move a bit when you apply the resin and play around with the resin, I like to have a somewhat barrier just to keep the resin in check, not to have it flowing everywhere where you don't want to have it, because resin always has its own head, you know? So especially for these black stones, I used to use this paste as a kind of barrier and just used a palette knife and domed it up against the black stones. If you go a bit messy and it goes to the void area where the resin is going to sit, this is no problem at all. It is pretty flat and your resin will cover it, so you still have only this domed up look in the end, which is super awesome, and you will see this in the end as well. In case you don't have access to this paste but want to have a somewhat similar look to it, you can basically create this yourself. So if you have some glitter or mica flakes or metallic flakes, you can just use those and make your own mixture along with varnish, for example. So I did this myself in a couple of projects, so especially for the geode, where I've added this spatial crack in between where the planet is sitting. I will link this in the video here somewhere in case you want to check this out. So I just used silver glitter and silver flakes that I had here, mixed it with some varnish and used the mixture to basically the same process like this one here. It is a bit thinner depending on the amount of glitter and flakes and varnish you use, so I used a bit too much of the varnish, I think, and it does not work so pasty as it does here, but it worked pretty sweet. And if you do not want to use the varnish for it, you can use acrylic binder, for example, which also dries clear, and put it in there. This stuff is a bit thicker and you can work it more like a paste, I'd say. But other than that, you can get the effect with so many different materials, techniques, versions. Just think about it a bit, what you have available and you have access to, and what you can make with it, basically. So what I want to say, if you see the product here that I'm using and you cannot get it, just don't get frustrated. Just think about how you can fake it and make it. And when everything is done and applied, it is time for a coffee, because this now has to dry. I have never really tried adding the resin right away when everything is red. It might work as well though, but I'd rather wait until it's dry. Because red materials and resin, they are not the best friends, so I let it dry normally and then go ahead when everything is set. And the good thing on top of that is you can also see how it looks in the end, because the paste is dried, everything is golden and shimmers and glitters, and you know, glitter is great. And yeah, everything really is in place, so nothing is going to move so much. Well, the glass stones in the middle are not fixed, so they can move, but just be gentle when you pour the resin. When it comes to the resin itself, I here decided for the Resonate resin again, because it only has a 15-minute working time, which is pretty convenient for such sizes. When it comes to the colors, I basically used the same colors than I used for my first most successful geode which I made, which is a silver, it is a purple, a metallic one of course, a opaque white, and that's it. Yeah, that's basically it. So the purple one is a metallic acrylic color, the silver one is a pigment paste, it's also from Resonate, and the white is, I don't know, it was from Amazon, it was more or less a no-name company. Well, it has a name, but I never heard it before. So they make resin pigment pastes, which look great, it's a really nice opaque white. And yeah, just basically mixed everything together. When you use acrylics into resin, make sure to not use more than 5 to 10% of the amount of the resin. Otherwise you risk getting gooey and it's reacting way quicker than it should. So yeah, just be careful there. So don't add too much of the acrylic paints into your resin, because things might get weird. When it comes to the resin pigment pastes, you can basically use the amount that you like, but you don't really need much to have everything colored in opaquely. And besides that, of course, I added glitter, because glitter and geodes are best friends. They go so well together, and I think I never did any of them without glitter. It's just when the sunlight hits it, or when you walk by and have this sparkle in the end, it just gives it some extra kick. Yeah, I really love it. And yeah, when it was mixed, I just started pouring everything on my MDF boards. And as this video was already over 15 minutes long and again packed with so many information, I decided to split this up, because the rest of the artwork will take again about 15 minutes to complete in a video. So yeah, I've split it up. I will upload the next part for the next upload day, so very soon on Wednesday I think. And we'll just finish this video here at this point. I hope you don't mind. I hope you enjoyed this first part so far, and if you have any questions about the preparation phase, just let me know in the comments as usual. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't done already and are curious about the second part of it. If you want to get in touch with me, social media is down below in the video description among all the materials that I've used here, and they are all linked to my German Amazon. So if you're not from Germany, you can just have a look at them, how they look like, and order them on your Amazon or in your stores nearby. So thank you for joining me for part 1. Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. And other than that, I hope to see you in my next video. Have a great day. Bye bye.